my definition at this time that we have a lot of Jews in Italy, that they are Jews of Italian religion.
The Jews are good for them as far as they are dead.
Shalom.
Yes, I don't need the microphone. If the Jewish community is small, aging, and assimilating, what part, nonetheless, do they have any part, any voice in Italian politics? Second, the Muslim population, community in Italy, what is its influence? Thirdly, what is the reaction of the Italian public in general to the recent cartoon and the election of Hamas?
Last one in this round, Ambassador David Efrati.
I must say that on certain points I wish to differ. I was in Italy as a child. I left Austria from the Nazis. I fled Austria from the Nazis. And we came to Milano. And I remember when the racial laws, I was a child, but I remember it very well, were issued, many Italians were practically crying because they didn't feel that that was Italy. They felt that that was imposed upon Italy by the Nazis. That's right, and I too. I was interned with my mother in southern Italy. We lived in Milano. We were interned in southern Italy during the war. The comportment of the Italian population towards us, in turn, was excellent. They protected us, they fed us, they helped us, and even in the concentration camp, when the Nazis pulled back, when the Allies landed in Italy, they opened the doors of the concentration camps. The guards said, "You go to them into the mountains because the Nazis may kill you, and afterwards you come back," and so on. And I want to show this in order to make a little balance between your lecture and certain other attitudes we have seen here, heard here, concerning the humanism of the Italian population, and not only the population, but also political parties. And on this I want to tell you another story, an anecdote. Before I was in a concentration camp in Italy, I was interned in a village. It's a little town. And the nobility, they adopted us. We were a group, they adopted us, they helped us in every way. Now, and I loved these people very much. I came back to Italy in 58, as an attaché in the Israeli embassy in Rome. And I heard that one of these noble families was a senator in the Italian Senate. And I asked my secretary to call him. Also, I had another name. I forgot to tell my name, my new name, my old name, my new name. The secretary called him, and as if there were telepathy, the first thing he said, "Manfredi, sei tu? It's you?" I said, "Yes, it's me." I didn't realize that what kind of senator he was. And he invited us immediately the same day to come, my wife and myself, to him for dinner. I entered his apartment and I was astonished because I knew he was a social democrat by opinion. And I saw Stalin, Lenin, Marx, and so on, everything. And he told him, "Excuse me, what's that?" I said, "No, you don't know?" "What I don't know? I'm a senator of the Communist Party." And he was not only the senator, he was a chairman of the communist group. And I asked him, "But how come you?" She said, "Look, in Italy, if you want to do something, you have to be a communist. Otherwise, all the other parties don't do anything for the people. So That was a kind of excuse. And this is also the kind of mentality, I must say. And I want also to say something else. It is true, the various opinions in Italy and the various discussions, the anti-Semites and not anti-Semites and so on and so, Catholics and non-Catholics and so on. But in the gist, and I can say it from the very interior, because I had the possibility to see Italian politics from an interior point of view, not from the outside. Italy was friendly and stayed friendly towards Israel in the very important things. There may be the left interest and so on and so forth, and other interests and corruption and so on, but basically Italy was and still is friendly towards Israel.
Okay, we stop this round, Rivka, we come to the next. Fiamma?
Sì, now,
We'll have one more round.
I will try to do it. You know, all of these very interesting points are something that we should discuss for hours, so I try to simply give a quick point of view about that. I think that you underline a phenomena that I called inside myself a twink. You know, a twink, yes, twink. C'è a twink about Israel among the people, and also in the left. Even in the most terrible among them,
What is the twink in Italian?
a twink vuol dire quando c'è una cosa, ti guarda, ci capiamo, we understand each other.
Crizzata
Crizzata in. Yes. Like, you know, I want to tell you an episode. Fassino was here. When Arafat, Fassino, I told you, is the secretary of the ex-Communist Party, DS. He was here, I went to the King David. We are friends since a long time. It's a long, long time. We know each other, we're the same generation. And we grew, all of us, all of the journalists and the politicians, we grow together in the juvenile movements, as in Israel, you know, just in a bourgeois elite that grew together, and then we found each other, and even if we think very different, then we kiss each other, we hug. And I said, perché are you going to Arafat? Why are you going out to Arafat? You know what Arafat has been doing? It's terrorist. Yeah. Going to the Mukata, leave him alone over there. And that's the only way that you can get rid of terrorism, and leaving him alone. And he said, no, I have to go there. I must go. And that's the typical Italian attitude that says, we know that you Jews are good. We know that you are right. We know that since 1948 you have been attacked everywhere. But, and all the time, still, you know, we belong to the left, and we are Italian. So, being consequential to our point of view is not so important. What is important, you carry on. You carry on and you make politics. So you can say today that, and I believe you, and I agree, and I share the same experience, that the people, even D'Alema, when he sees me, he hugs me. And he's really happy to see me. And I don't think that he's happy to see me because I'm an old friend of his. He's happy to see me because I'm a strong Jewish journalist that says what she likes to say on an important newspaper, and he hugs me, you know, while he hates Israel. I'm absolutely sure. Well, if you would hear me now, you would say, are you crazy? Hate Israel. Who can hate Israel? But this is deep in his heart, this is the reality. Still, there is something inside him that tells him who is right and who is wrong. I think that somebody that has an experience of Italy can understand what I'm saying. There is a twink, there is a blink, there is something that goes beyond logic. We are not American, we are Italian, and so we can say something, and and both of the things are right. So I want to tell you, the Italians, even Andreotti loves the Jews, you know, really, Andreotti has a real feeling. if you met him, as you surely did during your service, he's a very sympathetic Ben Adam, and he always asks me if I want to write on his review, which I don't. And that guy really liked the Jews, and really like Israel. And he thinks that he's doing good for Israel, doing what he's doing, promoting the Palestinian, making them more inside. And he already said that Hamas must be accepted, and that Israel and all the international community has to speak with Hamas. And here there comes one, and the second important point that is connected to all the questions that were here, and the double attitude. The Italians. It's not that they are not friends of Israel. They are more friends of the Palestinians. This is the real point. It's not that they are not friends of Israel, but they prefer, when the question comes to the question, I'm not speaking about Berlusconi. Berlusconi chose a politics of siding the United States against terrorism and in a war, and so he decided not to go and see Arafat. That was the Cardinal Tornasole. That was the real thing. Are you going to see Arafat? Yes or not? Berlusconi never did it. So that's another story. But generally speaking, that was the point. Now, coming to the other double game. So there is, in a sense, this is also a double game. I like Israel. Israel is a democracy. Israel is right, after all. Israel suffers terrorism. But the Palestinians are more right. The Palestinians are more right because they don't have what we think as a resistential, arco-costituzionale ideology. That they deserve the right of self-determination. That is the key word, self-determination. The key word of the Third International. The key word of the Third International is self-determination. So give it to them. You had it. Now it's about their time. This is the key. It's still this. You're an expert, Joel, in this kind of, that's just the key is the Third International way of thinking. This is it. Now coming to the double game. The double game is with the Shoah. The double game comes on with the Shoah. And with Adelphi. Adelphi is a press house that publishes all the Zinger and, you name them, they are there. I mean, it's a collection of shtetl Judaism that the Italians adore. I mean, there is nothing for them like reading a story about a little village in Poland. This is really the Judaism that they like. And also Aleph Bet Yoshua, because also the Amos Oz, Aleph Bet, you jump directly from the shtetl. I don't want to be too harsh because they are very good writers after all. But that's another idea of of finding a link with a certain kind of ideology. That's an essay. You still have to write it. But that's another. The literary taste say a lot. But still, the double game is all connected to the Holocaust until you have until you have the alibis that they invite you to cry on the Shoah victims. You are okay. You don't need to do so. And certainly they are sorry about these victims. It's not that Ciampi doesn't regret about what's happened in the ghetto of Rome in that terrible October, or that he doesn't cry on the Jews that were the most important part of the victim of the Fosse Ardeatine. It's a very basic issue. Italy is built on that. I mean, it's not a fiction. It's not Italy is built on the refusal of all of that. So this puts their conscience to sleep. I will stop with about. Did I forget something?
The questions of Shalom, really. The Muslims, Jews in Italy.
The question about the cartoon. The question about the cartoon is dealt with a certain worry, a certain fear. Uvda, the Prime Minister Berlusconi said that we must avoid from laughing too harshly about all the religions. He didn't say some more than that, but all the Italian newspaper, included mine, has published the Mohammed with the bomb on his head and has written at large. The opinion have been different, have been various. Still, I must say that it has gone quite correctly until this point. The question has been discussed in the real term, and even tough opinions have included mine, have been published on the front page. So, sincerely, I noticed as that you know, La Stampa has been quoted as you know that La Stampa belongs to the family Agnelli, the owner of La Fiat. Ah, you know that? No? It's not that he was kicked out, but they made him understand that he can continue from time to time writing it. So, you know, things move, things change, and this time, even if La Stampa also published in the front page editorials saying that they should have not been offended, I make it very short. They also published mine that says completely different things that now we don't care about. But there is one point which is very weak about Muslim in Italy, and is the commission that has been formed by the Minister of Defense that includes members of the UCOI, is called the organization. The UCOI is the Muslim Brotherhood group. And in Italy, and you know the story probably from Britain, that when government decided they form a commission to deal with the Muslim problem, not with the Muslim problem, with Muslim relation, they put in whoever is around. And now these people have been put in, these people from the Muslim Brotherhood. And I'm not going to go into it because it would take another hour, but these people are involved in terrorist activities. And they are not consultants, they are extremists. And still they are there. So this is the real weak point.
Last question, Rivka.
I have one question, Fiamma. You always mention, you began your year with 1968. And you've mentioned the 67, the Six-Day War and the reactions. 1968 was the year of the student protests in Europe. And does that have an influence on today and through the course of the 80s and 90s, and what is that influence?
I think that to the students it took a much shorter time to become anti-Israeli. I say this from my own experience, because when I came back, the first harsh, tough, unbearable reactions were just inside my students' friend group, you know. So they passed into the parties again as two different matters. One, it was the strategic issue of being on the side of the Soviet Union. That was always there, and it continued. But on the other side, it was also connected with the idea of conquering the electorate. They wanted the votes of the students, you know, and then there was a certain, Che Guevara and all of this mentality were slowly but surely transferred to the Palestinian camp. think about the representation of the Munich story. If you think about how the terrorists presented themselves to the press, that guy with the big hat and the long hair, well, nowadays the Islamic terrorists show themselves in a completely different way that is much more connected to Bin Laden, let's say, and with the mask and the religious attitude, then to the self-determination communist university camp. I put it, they made it an icon that could have been easily accepted by a public that was addicted to the image of Che Guevara, and nowadays it's not a matter of chance. You find Fidel Castro, that is the only one that is widely proclaiming that Hamas must be accepted